to do first fit, we need to identify the free partition size that the question given. First of all, the free partition size of the first block is between 10 to 30 and also 30 to 68, which is continuous, so we need to combine each other. After combining, the free partition size of the first block is 58. Next, the second block of the free partition size is between 100 to 115, which has a 15 of free size. And next, the third block of the free partition size is between 120 and 129, and 129 to 155. We can also combine each other, so the free partition size of the third block is 35. And last, the free partition size of the fourth block is between 200 to 290, and the free partition size is the biggest among the four, which is 90. For the first fit, we need to allocate the first block that is big enough to allocate the process. For the first process, it has a 23 MB of size, and the first block has a 58 of free partition size, so it is fit enough to allocate the process in the first block. So the remaining size of the first block is 35. Let's look at the process 2. Process 2 has a size of 48 MB. For the first block, it has only 35 of free partition size, so it is not enough to fit in process to allocate for process 2. And the second block has only a 15 free partition size, which is also not enough to fit in the process 2. Let's look at the third block. It has also only a 35 of free partition size, which is also smaller than 48 of megabyte size. So it is not enough to fit in the third block. Let's look at the fourth block. It has a 90 of free partition size, which is enough to fit in process 2. So now, fourth block has a remaining of 42 free partition size in the block. Let's look at the process 3. Process 3 has a 10 MB of size, which need to allocate. For the first block, we still have a 35 of free partition size, so process 3 is fit enough to allocate in this block. For the first block, after allocate the process 3, we still have a 25 of free partition size. Let's look at the next process, which is process 4. It has a 6 MB of size. In first block, we still have a 25 of free partition size, so process 4 is also fit enough to allocate in the first block. So now, first block has a remaining of 19 free partition size. Let's look at the last process, which is process 5. It has a 30 MB of size, which needed to allocate into the block. For the first block, we have only a 19 free partition size, so definitely it is not enough to allocate in. And the second block has only a 15 free partition size, so it is also not enough to fit in. For the third block, it has a 35 of free partition size, so it is fit enough to allocate process 5 in third block. For the third block, after allocate the process file, it has only a remaining of 5 free partition size. And for the free partition size that has not been used, can be used for future, we need to put a H symbol for us to allocate next time. For the best fit, we need to allocate the smallest block that is big enough. Let's look at the first process, which has a 23 megabytes of size. For the first block, we have the 58 of free remaining size. Let's look at another block. Second block has a 15 of free partition size. Definitely it cannot fit in the first process. And for the third block, it has also a 35 of free partition size. And for the fourth block, it has a 90 of free partition size. So for the first block, we have 58. For the third block, we have 35, and the fourth block we have 90. So the third block is the smallest block that is big enough to allocate process 1. After allocating process 1 in third block still have a remaining size of 12. Let's look at the process 2. It has a 48 of megabyte of that needed to be allocated. In the first block, we have a 58 of free partition size, and fourth block we have a 90 of free partition size. So in best fit, we need to allocate the small block that is big enough. So first block is definitely fit enough to allocate the process 2. After allocating, first block still have a remaining of 10 free partition size. Process 3 has a 10 megabyte of size, so definitely process 3 can be fit in first block. In process 4, have a 6 megabyte of size that needed to be allocated into the block. So in the second block, we have a 15 of free partition size. In third block, we have a 12 of free partition size, and in fourth block, we have a 90 free partition size. So we need to choose the smallest block that is big enough, so which is third block. And last, process 5 have a 30 megabytes of size that needed to be allocated into the block. In second block, we have only 15 free partition size, so it is not fit enough. In fourth block, we have a 90 free partition size, so it seems only this block can be fit in process 5. After allocating process 5, fourth block have only left 60 free partition size that we need to put H as a symbol for future use.
It's the one and only Digo Double G. Snoop Dogg. You know what happened with the D-R-E.